Plagiarism. Have you ever heard of that word before? Well, it's just a fancy word that means copying or stealing someone else's words, ideas, or work and using them as your own. Doesn't sound like a very pleasant word, but it's something that we have to think about because with the internet now, a lot of people are borrowing or stealing or copying other people's work off the internet and trying to pass it off as their own. Now, there's two things wrong with that. The first thing that's wrong with that is if you get found out, you could lose marks. You can possibly lose your graduation diploma. If you're working, you can lose your job. So it's just like breaking the law, and that's not a very good thing. The second thing about it is there's no reason why you can't borrow other people's work or ideas or words. All you have to do is give them credit. I will show you today how to do that. I got some of these ideas off the internet, and I'd like to give credit to the website, so I've posted it there. So feel free to go check out that website. And here's some tips to avoid plagiarism. When writing a paper, use your own words most of the time. Easy. That's the easiest trick in the book, is just to use your own ideas. Of course, we can't always use our own ideas for everything, so sometimes we have to give credit to other people. But if it's common knowledge and we know that most people know it and you don't have to do research, you simply just state your own words. For example, many Canadians are on Facebook. I'm on Facebook. You're probably on Facebook. So that's pretty common knowledge. So try and use as much of common knowledge or your own personal knowledge as possible when you're doing your work. The next tip is if you have to use another person's ideas, just simply give them credit. And the easy way to do that is to get the link off the website, find out, see if you could find their name, or if they're the person that developed the website's editor, use their name. For example, I did a quick search to find out about how many people are on Facebook, and I came up with one website, and it was a Globe and Mail website. And they have a statistic there that they've done their own research, and they found out, according to their research, that 42% of Canadians are on Facebook. So that's interesting. The other website I found, and I've quoted there as well, says that Canada has passed the 16 million users mark in May, according to the research firm Inside Network. So this is another Globe and Mail article, and they also referenced the Inside Network, so they gave credit to the Inside Network. And oftentimes when you're reading other people's work, they are going to reference or give credit to other people's work as well. So you'll see a lot of that citing sources or quoting other people and giving credit where it's due. And once you start practicing, you'll get better and better. You probably won't be perfect at it at first, but as long as you try your best to give credit by either putting the name or the title of the book, or making a bibliography, or putting the page number and referring to the author's novel or the author's name, you can't go wrong. You have to try your best. So this is another website that I found, and this person is quoting Khan Yigit, the president of Solutions Research Group, and they said that roughly half of all Canadian Facebook users are over the age of 30. Now they put a quote here, and it says, "It's wonderfully Canadian because I bet that if I ask you where your family is, you'll say they're all over the place," Yigit said, "and Facebook is a good way to keep in touch with friends and family." So you can see how they put quotes around this person's words, and they use those words to help support their story or their research, and to kind of give it a personal touch. And that's okay to do. It's great to use other people's words as long as you put them in quotation marks or cite the source. If you make a little bit of slight changes in the words, you can't think that it's okay and think it's still yours. So, for example, here's a bad example of obvious plagiarism. Half of all Facebook users are older than 30 years old. So obviously, if you wrote this in a paper to me, I would know that you did not take the time to go and research all of the Facebook users, find out their ages, and I'll check out all 16 million of them. So it can't be your work, your own work, words, or ideas. You would have to have gone and done a little bit of research on Google, or found it out through other research firms. So this one would be an obvious example of poor plagiarism. But if you wanted to use this quote, then you'd have to give the author credit. It's very simple. Just put the name, as I mentioned before, the website. You could call me if you want some more help, if you want to do it more formally. But as long as you try to do some kind of a cite your source, you're on the right page. Even if you aren't directly quoting material, you're just trying to summarize it, you still have to give credit. So, for example, let's say if you just did a quick Google search and you found a whole bunch of information that shows 1 in 4 Canadians are on Facebook. So this is an example of giving credit to, let's say, Google search or to those websites on a Google search, and I've put that website there. I can go ahead and say a quick Google search shows that 25% of Canadians are on Facebook. So those are the ways that you can make sure that you cover all your bases, is make sure you provide a link or a name. And if you're unsure, you have to be careful and continue to use the websites, a footnote or a citation, even using a graph. I found this chart in one of the articles, and it's showing how, according to the chart below, Canada, Facebook usage is on the rise. So you can see that it's going up, and there's different ages. But this is not a graph that I did. This is a graph that someone else did, so I have to give credit to it by providing the link to my readers or to my teacher. So plagiarism is a big problem that's happening in a lot of places, and to avoid it, simply follow these tools of always giving the author that provided the research and who did all the work, give them credit. Use their words wisely.